Thank you for visiting Past the Wire TV, the YouTube channel of PastTheWire.com. Ciao, everybody. Welcome to Past the Wire TV, an episode of Unfiltered, and I hope that you are all doing well. We're going to talk a little bit today about CAWs or CRWs or syndicates, whatever you want to call them. They're all the same thing. Computer assisted wagering, computer robotic wagering, syndicates. They're the high volume, big betting, bet through computer players that get the big rebates, that bet primarily through 2 or 3 different high volume shops. And a couple of interesting things came to light recently about them, which is why we're going to revisit this. This is something that we've spoken about on Past the Wire for a long time. I believe that Past the Wire is the first outfit that brought an interview with an actual CAW player to the table on record. It was in the form of an article. The name of it was Horse Racing's True Lifeline. I will put a link to the article in the write-up to this video or in the comments on this video, and you'll be able to check out that article. It's definitely worth checking out. It will shed a lot of light on some of the truths and falsehoods of the CAW players, their contract, what goes on with them, and I think you'll get a lot out of it. There's also a video I'll put a link to that we did way back when, I don't even remember, on beating the syndicates and how to play against them, which is something that if you take this game seriously, you're going to have to do. Then we're going to get into a little thing. The name of this video is Timing is Everything, and we're going to talk about timing, the timing of the CAW revisit, because that came up recently, and we'll get to that when we come back to it. And the timing of the Florida Derby just raised the issue of the timing of races, which is such an integral part of our sport. So we'll be back in a minute and start the show. I think that you'll like it, get a lot out of it. And thanks everybody for tuning in, and stand by. All right, we wrote the Horse Racing's True Lifeline article a while back. I wrote it. I did interview a CAW player who, one of the, at the time, I believe there was 13 of these syndicates or high volume players. Now there might be 15. Might be 12, but there's somewhere between 12 and 15. There are 2 apparently that are the largest 2. They're known. They play through Elite Turf Club, owned by the Stronach Group. Elite Turf Club 17 is the name of one. Elite Turf Club 2 is the name of the other. They're probably actually individual players that employ people to work for them. They're really a business and structured as a business with a expensive computer model that identifies things that these players, look for. And you could learn a lot more about them and what they look for. And the player that we interviewed in the Horse Racing True Lifeline article on Past the Wire, like I said, there's a link to that here. But what made me want to revisit the situation is that someone by the name, and I don't know this person, I saw it on Twitter, Oliver Rodia, wrote an article about them. It was in follow-up to an article that the Thoroughbred Idea Foundation and Pat Cummings wrote about them. And the Thoroughbred Idea Foundation and Pat have been studying them and tracking them and writing about them, for years. And they come up with some good information, and absolutely they lobby for the better, which we all want to do. And when I say better, I mean better with OR, not ER. I'm talking about the players that are putting the money into the game. But there are problems with the CAW players that are not really being addressed and are not really being talked about. And there's still a lot of misconceptions in the comments to both of these articles. A lot of people really don't understand what these people are doing, how they're doing it. The why they're doing it is easy. They're making money. But the problem becomes, and why I called that article with this one particular player, Horse Racing's True Lifeline, is nobody really knows exactly how much of the pool these guys make up. I think it's about 30 to 35% overall on an average. Some people say it's a little less. Some people say it's a little more. A lot of people claim to know. I don't think anybody really knows for sure, but I think 25 to 30, 32, 33%, maybe 30 is a fair quote guesstimation on how much money these guys are putting in the pool. Now, you don't have to be a rocket scientist or Albert Einstein or mathematician to know if we take 25 to 30% out of our pool, okay, and I'm talking about the overall daily, handle and pools in racing, what happens to our game? I mean, one of the things that Pat Cummings brought out is that, over the past several years, if you adjust for inflation, we're down handle-wise 63%, despite all those articles you see, oh, we broke all sources record handle today, this meet broke that handle record. When you factor in inflation, handle is down. When you look at the players that how many of you know players that are betting more than ever? I bet less than ever today. And that's a video for that's a whole episode if we wanted to get into why I bet less than ever. I could bet more than ever. I bet less than ever. That's strategically by design. Most players I know, with taking the CAW players and the syndicates out of the equation, are betting less than ever, and they should be, in my opinion. It's not the same game that it used to be, and it has to be approached very differently. When we did the Beating the Syndicate video, there's a lot that I've adapted to and changed since then, because the game changes and evolves, and you got to kind of evolve to keep your edge and to compete with these kind of players. These guys are betting millions, 20, 30, 40, $50 million over time into the pool. $500,000 a day, 200,000, 300,000 a day into these pools. Tough to go against them. They're betting late through computer systems that they're dialed into. All of that is true. What's not true is that they see unplayed combinations and things like that. But they're not going anywhere, because racing is not in a position to kick them out. NYRA claims to have taken them out, and I'm sure they have, for all intents and purposes, locked out the CAWs from the late pick 5, the cross country pick 5, the pick 6, which basically means that those registered accounts through Elite or the other high volume rebate shops, and they're getting like 10, 11, 12% rebates. Uh, you know, they for sure, the players I'm talking about have a way of betting into those pools. They could have a separate account that's not a quote CAW account. They still get all their analytics. They still get all their information. They still get all their, fair odds and calculations that their computer models give them. And they could be betting through a regular account. Yeah, they won't get that big rebate. They won't be able to make that bet the last second. But if you think that if they want to be in those pools, they're not in those pools, I don't think that. I think that's a naive thing to believe. They could be betting through someone else. Some of them could be, have accounts in friends' names, thinking that people don't do that when it comes to this kind of money and these kind of edges. Is like believing that nobody plays any of these, Breeders' Cup contests or NAC contests not in collusion. Well, it's against the rules. Absolutely. There's a lot of things that are against the rules that people do every day. When money's at stake, if history has taught us anything, is that people will do what they need to do and what they have to do to get their edge. And that's just a cold, hard reality and factor of life that you might as well get used to. Another thing that people were talking about is that, these people are getting these high rebates. You're also not going to put a stop to that. How do you put a stop to that? Okay. The bigger players are going to get bigger rebates. In reality, it's only fair. If you're betting 100,000 a year and you're going against somebody that's betting 600,000 a year, they're going to get a bigger rebate on their money. That's just business. And they're not only are they going to get a bigger rebate, the amount they're going to get is going to be bigger because they're betting more, more money. So bigger rebate, more volume equals, more money coming back to them. That's an edge to get them in the black instead of the red that, the smaller players don't have. So are they cannibalizing the pools by betting all these different combinations and are they required to have a much lower profit margin than say, the everyday player with their rebates to come out ahead? Absolutely. How do you stop it? You take away their rebates, you probably lose their handle. You lose their handle, we're probably not doing this video. There's certainly some tracks that will suffer and close and jobs that will go away and horses that'll have nowhere to race. I mean, the game is struggling with them in it, theoretically. So what happens with them out of it? Horse racing's true lifeline. That's why I called the article that, because we have to be very careful about how we treat these people, considering what they're doing. Now, anonymity. Of course they want to be anonymous. Wouldn't you want to be anonymous? I certainly would. If I was betting 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, $50 million a year through a high volume rebate shop, do you think I want anybody knowing my name? I don't post my tickets now. All right. A lot of people who follow me know I loved Goodnight Olive in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint last year as much as I loved any racehorse in a long time. But whether I bet 2,000, 20,000 or 50,000 is really nobody's business but mine and whoever I want to know that. I don't think that needs to be public or that should be public. And if the ADW that I made my bet through publicized that or broadcast that or made that known, and I did make a nice bet on Goodnight Olive, I would have an issue with that. And I can't blame any of these high volume players for not wanting anybody that they don't want to know who they are. That's just not public information. Listen, the people that bet a lot and invest a lot into the game are going to get perks that the regular player doesn't get. Is it fair? I don't know. I don't know how you answer that question. I mean, the biggest tipper gets the best table. Is that fair? Uh, you could go to a restaurant all the time, steady customer. Guy comes in, spends the right amount of money, he's going to get treated as good, if not better than you. Should it be that way? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, there is something to be said for loyalty. I believe in loyalty. I don't know that it really exists the way it did as I was coming up and growing up in the world today, as it did, back then. But it's not as simple a situation with these, high volume players as a lot of people like to think. Oh, ban them. They're robbing the everyday player. Hey, I've learned to adapt differently. Do I feel that they cannibalize the pools and that the pick 4s, 5s, and 6s and exactas, get hit hard and come back a lot shorter than they should? Often they do. But when they lose hard too. They don't lose as much as you and I, but when they do, they lose hard. You've got to capitalize on that and learn different ways of combating them. And I'm going to do an updated video on how I beat them and go after them, and my techniques and philosophies on dealing with them at a later time. But for now, you could check out the old Beating the Syndicates video that there'll be a link to on this show. But I don't know where they're going. You tell me. I don't know where they're going, because without them, okay? And I understand nobody wants them, but without them, where are we? Running for blue ribbons, maybe? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I mean, it's a tough problem, and it has to be dealt with fairly and in an intelligent manner, in a way where we could maybe keep their money in the pool, but neutralize some of the edges and some of the perceived edges that aren't really edges, and maybe educate more people on how to play with them. I like big pools. I like their money in the pool. I like to figure out a way to get around them. Yeah, I see some pick 4s, 5s, and 6s. I don't play the pick 6 as much as I used to, but I'll see numbers come back a lot short. Everybody hates when the odds drop after the race starts and that late money comes in through the computer. It's not coming in. They're not betting after the race starts, but it takes time for that money to come in and get reflected in the odds. Should be done in real time. We should upgrade the tote system. Maybe there's a way to show that money coming in real time, so we could project the odds faster and have closing odds at the bell and not have them adjust. But the tote system, I don't think nearly enough money is invested in to be as state of the art as it should be. But the CAWs, the syndicates, which whatever you want to call them, the robotic wagerers, the CRWs, doesn't matter. Call them whatever you want. It's the same thing. It is, they are who they are. There's a limited number of them, but their handle is growing. Our handle is shrinking. Remember that. We don't like their money in the pool. We don't like anybody to have an unfair edge over the everyday player. I'm all for the everyday player. I don't agree with that, but there's got to be a way we handle them and keep their money, unless we could find a way to grow the game and sustain the game without them. I don't see it with our current business model. We take a lot out, we don't put a lot in, and that's a problem. That's not a recipe for long-term success. So keep that in mind with these syndicates, as people like to call them. We'll come back in a minute and talk a little bit about the timing of races, which is a whole nother fiasco. But again, another one that should be dealt with. And this is, in my opinion, low-hanging fruit that's not nearly as complicated as the CAWs. But we'll come back to that in a minute. So hang tight.
By Uncle Mo. And they're off in the Remsen. as they come on for the finish, and it's going to be tight here in the Remsen. Mo Donegal. Mo Donegal bearing down on the outside. It's Mo Donegal and early voting, and it is Mo Donegal to win the Wood Memorial. And it will be Mo Donegal to win the Test of the Champion, the Belmont Stakes.
You know what I find almost ironic, lack of a better term, lawn jeans. Big sponsor of horse racing. They make watches. Okay. I'm not a lawn jeans guy, but they make watches. I hear they're good. Some of the ones they give out to the winners of the Breeders' Cup and stuff look nice enough. But watch company, major sponsor of horse racing. And we can't time the races right. And it's been going on for a long time. And, you know, people say time matters mostly, you know, only, you know, if you're in jail. That's not true. Time matters in horse races. So much of our sport and our data and of this, quote, skill game is based on time. Track records, which is historic and part of the sport based on time. And we've got issues timing races. We see it all the time. We see fractions we don't believe. We know they're not correct. We don't know what the right ones are. We see people come in and retime races only to make corrections and adjustments after the fact. We just had an issue with the Florida Derby where how fast the Kentucky Derby favorite, Forte, how fast he came home is potentially unclear. Should be boom, rocket science. I mean, it should be precisionally timed to perfection. Okay, Thorograph, okay, Ragazine, even Bayer, time form, whatever figures you want to use. And Craig is great at going back and correcting times and spotting incorrect times. He shouldn't have to do that. He should be able to just make his figures based off the times. I used to love Trackers. Trackers apparently wasn't that accurate. They got out of the business. Okay, now it's not only times. Okay, not an isolated incident. I'm going to tell you, I watch races every day they race. Okay, every time I watch races, I see a horse in front. I hear the announcer calling that horse, and the chiclet for a different number horse who's not in front is showing that that horse is in front. Every day you could see that. Every single day. Nobody talks about that. We talk about the odds dropping. We talk about the timing. What about those chicklets? Okay. All right. Shows number 2 in front. When you know number 4's in front, you got a double take because you're worried about your action or whatever you got going. And you're like, wait, it says number 2, but the announcer's calling number 4. You see the saddle cloth to number 4, and you know it's number 4, but they got number 2 up there on the chiclet. I mean, come on. I mean, this is technology 101. It just shows that there's no regard, none. A lot of talk, but no regard for the better. No regard for the guy that's putting money into the or girl, you know, putting money into the game. 2 groups put money into the game. Owners and bettors. That's it. Everybody else is taking money out of the game. And those 2 groups are probably the least represented and spoken for in our entire industry. And that's just a bad business model. Not good. The timing issue. Okay. Fix it. It should be a rarity that the timing of a race is off. Okay. Do you think that in Formula One, when they're qualifying for the pole at the Monaco Grand Prix, they got to worry that the timing of the driver's lap is not accurate. You think Tag Heuer makes those mistakes? Rolex makes those mistakes? Longines, maybe they should get involved with not just sponsoring us timing the races, because we certainly ain't doing it right. I mean, we're a sport that's based on time. We have track records. We have stakes records. We have fractions and splits that we handicap off and try and make predictions of what's going to happen that we're betting on money on. And you can't get the timing right. Should be an absolute rarity. It's a disgrace that these things should happen, even occasionally, let alone with regularity. Okay, that's disgraceful, and it's a slap in the face to anybody that bets. One of the many reasons, like I said at the beginning, that I bet less than ever. Okay, racing as an industry has banked on successfully, I might add, that horse players are degenerates and they'll bet no matter what they throw at us, what product that they put out, what they do. They figure what the takeout is, what they let CAW players do. We're going to bet anyway. And you know what? 99% of us prove them right day in and day out. I'm not part of that 99%. I never was part of that 99%. I always been part of the 1% for a long time, in many, many ways and aspects of my life. I bet less than ever. I bet when I want. I bet what I want, how I want, and with a tremendous amount of discipline. And I love betting on horses as much as anybody watching this video and anybody in the game. And I've probably bet as much as many people and more than most for years, half a century. Okay. Today, I'm very, very selective. Why? Because I'm not the type to just take whatever they give at me. Large better. I don't want to mention him by name because he might not want me to, but I'm going to have him on the show. He's probably going to watch this. Really, really good guy. Bets a ton of money. We were talking about this. I spoke about this with Tommy Hammer. You guys, most of you will know Hammer. He's one of the few successful bettors in this game. There's not many of us out there, but the guy was talking to the other day is a conversation I had with Hammer. And I was like, listen, I felt since they started the BCBC Breeders' Cup betting challenge that there's one with my name on it. I think I could win it if I played it every year. And every year, I can play it for nothing. Okay. I don't even have to qualify. Okay. Number one, I could buy my way in on my own, but I have friends of mine who know how I play and have enough faith in me who say, listen, I'll stake you, play. I say no. And the reason is I don't like the format. Okay. I would love to, for the sake of past the wire, hang on my shingle, BCBC winner, but I don't like the format. I don't like mandatory races. To me, for me to play, and I might, change my mind and play for the heck of it one day. But for me, if it's a 10,000 buy-in, okay, and I could live with the 7,500 going towards the prize and 2,500 going to the take, but let me play the 7,500 any way I want. Don't tell me I got to play certain races that I may not want to play. I would want to play it my way. I would take the 7,500, bang, shoot it all in, and only play what I want to play. And I remember Hammer's arguments about, you could play this, you could play that, you could take your shot anyway. I like my format and the way that I play, and I don't need to acquiesce to anybody because I have fun playing the game. I make my scores, and I don't need to take what they give me. I rather take what I want to take and go after what I want to go after. And that's, one of the ways to be successful long-term in this game. But the timing, listen, we got to get it right. We got to get the timing right. It's low hanging fruit. It's not that complicated. It's a little bit of technology. And while we're at it, okay, let's stop with the run-ups. Okay. If a race is 3/4 of a mile or 6 furlongs, break them out of the gate at the 6 furlong mark. Okay, so they come back in 112, 113, the times change. It's much better than these run-ups. Everybody wants them to have a running start because the times are faster, the first quarter is faster, the final time is faster because they're running they're timing the races from a running start. I say time them from the gate and put the gate where it belongs. Never mind these run-ups that half the time you don't know if they're accurate. You don't know what. I mean, it's just another way that they show the better that, yeah, it's a skill game, bet your money, but trust us on the information we give you. The run-up is right. The turf rail is right. I've measured run-ups and found inconsistencies and errors in run-ups that are printed in the past performances. That should never be. That should never be, okay? It's just wrong. It's low hanging fruit that should be corrected. We need to get the timing right. We need to get the chicklets right. And we've got an article on the Florida Derby fiasco coming out on Past the Wire. I'm not writing it. One of our writers are writing it. You'll find out about it when it comes out in the next couple of days. But the timing issue is just a ridiculous issue that we have amongst many issues. We've got some issues that are tough. We've got aftercare, we've got drugs, illegal drugs, we've got legal drug issues with withdrawal times and different rules. We've got all the problems with HISA being resisted, not having their act together in certain ways, and we're going to wrap up talking a little bit about that. But the timing is low hanging fruit, and if they can't get that right, I mean, how much do they care about any of us? I mean, stop proving them right. Let the handle decline and let you be a part of that declining handle, because the CAWs can't run the game by themselves. They're not going to just bet against each other. If we're all out, then they've got an issue. But they bet that we'll never unite that way, and I'd love to see that proven wrong. So we'll take another quick break. We'll wrap up with a little HISA talk, a couple of comments about that, and then we'll move on.
Tracking trips with Pick Six King John Stettin. It's one of the best tools in horse racing for any level of player. It's your second set of eyes, spotting troubled trips, betting angles, track trends, horses to watch and favorites to fade, 10 figs, ticket structure, and more. At Tracking Trips, you're a friend with benefits. Not a member? You must hate winning money. Join Tracking Trips now. Visit pastthewire.com and we'll see you in the winner's circle. Remember, nobody does it better.
They're off in the Curlin Florida Derby. After 3/4 in 112-1, Known Agenda is now on to take over the lead. It's Known Agenda for St. Elias Stable. Florida Derby winner, Known Agenda.
It's easy to see why, people have their reservations and their concerns about HISA. I mean, they haven't had their act together in a lot of ways. They're putting a lot of emphasis on things that people in the industry don't think are as important as HISA seems to think that they are. But let's be realistic about one thing that I think is indisputable. They are faced with a monumental task in regulating an industry that has been self-regulated to epic failure proportions for over 100 years. We've failed. That ship has sailed. HICE is here. I'm hoping that they improve. I get why people are against them. Personally, I'm not. I think we need outside regulation. Am I a fan of governmental intervention in horse racing? No. But like I said, we had our chance and we failed. The ship sailed. So here we are. Let's make the best of what we have and help them succeed if that's even possible. I don't know that it is. I mean, we have to wait and see. But you know, I don't think they're going anywhere. I think that they are here for the fight. I know we all know that they've just had another setback and another pushback on implementing, you know, the uniform anti-doping policies that they have. But you know, what else do we have? We have no uniformity. We have no leadership. We have no governing body other than HICE. And that's something that we've absolutely needed for a long time. So I think the industry as a whole in the long run would be better served in working towards helping HISA succeed and improve than just resisting them and knocking them and fighting them at every level. Do they need to improve? Yes, significantly. Yes, we all can see that. But how many of us are trying to help them? And there are some of us that are. And I see even people on social media pointing out things in a nice way, trying to say, hey, you know, look at this, look at that. You know, sometimes we get frustrated and that shows. A lot gets lost in translation on social media. But you know, I think that HISA is trying, and I think that the industry could probably try a little harder as a whole to maybe work with them instead of working against them. That's just my take on it, but we'll see where they wind up and how it goes. Anyway, thanks for watching. Horse racing's true lifeline, CAW. Actually, we're the first that ever brought a CAW player to the table on record, being interviewed. Check it out. I think it's worth seeing. Beating the Syndicates. Good video to check out. Going to update one and tell you how I attack these people now. I ain't afraid of them or anybody else. So they're in there. We'll beat them. No problem. So thanks for watching. Ciao for now. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, hit the like button, leave a comment, ask a question, subscribe to Past the Wire TV. We appreciate it. Appreciate the love, appreciate the support. We don't even mind the haters that are out there. If you ain't got haters, you're doing something wrong. And our Derby, Oaks Derby seminar, grab a spot while there's a discount rate on that. It goes up pretty soon. I don't know exactly when, but that's going to be killer. We always have a lot of fun, provide a lot of information, and put ourselves in position to take down some scores at these seminars for the Breeders' Cup and the Kentucky Derby and some of the other ones as well. But our big ones are always the Derby, Oaks, and the Breeders' Cup. So thanks everybody for watching. Ciao for now, and see you all soon.
Here with some exciting news. DRF Formulator, the gold standard in past performance information, is now free exclusively on DRF Bets. Join DRF Bets with the promo code WINNING. Get a $250 first deposit match bonus, a $10 free bet, and free Formulator already uploaded to your account. Access Formulator's premium features, including sortable trainer stats, race replays, personalized trip notes, and lots more. Free Formulator exclusively on DRF Bets.
Nobody does it better.